Good morning, everyone. Have you ever tried speaking in a foreign language and felt like something was missing? Like you just couldn't quite sound natural? This is a common struggle for many language learners, especially when it comes to pronunciation. In Indonesia, students often face this challenge daily. But what if there was a technique that could bridge that gap, making students sound more confident and more fluent? Henny Septeutami and Ruli Morgan's research presents the shadowing technique, where students closely imitate native speaker through listening and repetition. As a fellow English education major, I chose this article because it directly addresses one of the core components of speaking skills, which is essential for English learners. So, today I'll be discussing how this technique was applied in their research and the powerful impact it had on the students' English competence. So, the article presents a classroom action research study conducted at SMPN 1 Curup Timur Bengkulu, focused on addressing the English pronunciation challenges of 9th grade students through the shadowing technique. This technique involves students actively listening to spoken English and mimicking it as closely as possible to improve their pronunciation through repeated practice. And for the research, aim to resolve specific pronunciation issues such as difficulties with vowel and consonant sounds, allophones, sound combinations, stress, rhythm, and intonation. The study was carried out in 2 cycles, each consisting of 2 practice sessions and a post-test. The data were collected using both qualitative and quantitative methods, including observation and test. For the cycle 1, students showed significant improvement in basic pronunciation elements like phonemes, vowel and consonant sounds, sound combination, and sound linkage. However, they still struggle with more complex pronunciation features, including allophones, variations of a sound depending on its context, stress, rhythm, pitch, and intonation. The post-test results from this cycle indicated that while progress had been made, students still fell short of meeting the required standards for these more advanced aspects of pronunciation. So, to address these weaknesses, in the cycle 2, the shadowing technique was refined to place greater emphasis on stress, rhythm, and intonation. And by the end of the second cycle, students demonstrated significant improvement across all pronunciation indicators, including the more complex elements. And the research showed that students were able to achieve the required standards, and the technique proved to be effective in enhancing their overall pronunciation skills. In addition to improving pronunciation, the shadowing technique also boosted students' fluency and confidence. Through repeated listening and mimicking, students became more familiar with natural speech patterns, helping them to focus on accuracy in sound production, rhythm, and intonation. So, in reflecting on this article, the shadowing technique stands out as a highly relevant tool for English education majors. It focused on active listening and repetition, aligns with foundational principles of language learning, making it particularly useful for students striving to improve pronunciation. However, while this research shows a success in a classroom setting, I believe further exploration is needed to understand how this shadowing technique could be adapted to students at different proficiency levels, such as beginners versus advanced learners. So, this could provide valuable insight into how the technique might be modified to meet the specific needs of learners with varying skill sets. That's all for me. Thank you for your time and attention.